Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. This is your love life reading for the second half of November. A slightly different format this time. There is an explanation in the description if you want to know what that is. Otherwise, I'm going to get stuck into the reading. So the overriding energy of the reading is the Seven of Wands. Now, when the Seven of Wands comes up, it can feel like things are coming at you from every direction. You can have so much on your plate. You may be having to battle on different fronts. But as we look at this card, all we see are the weapons being held up to this person. But she looks totally resolute. Look how she stands there with her wand in her hands and she's ready to fight. And I mean, it may be a lot to do with the fact that Mars enters Aquarius on the 9th of November. I am doing this reading on the 8th. So a lot of this energy you may find is what you bring into the second half of November. So anyway, so we see this person is ready to fight. And I always say the Seven of Wands, there's nothing in the Seven of Wands to show that you won't be victorious. In fact, I always feel like it's a test. Like it tests you that you can win, you can come out on top. But a lot of Aquarians may find themselves feeling more aggressive at this time. And that can be kind of an influence of Mars when Mars is in your sign. And I mean, it's something that I'm aware of too, because I have an Aquarian sun, as many of you know. So there is that overriding energy. Wands can be fiery and passionate and willing to fight. I mean, it's a different energy from the kind of cold, logical Aquarius mind that sometimes Aquarians are known for. But there is that passion. Aquarians fight, but usually they come from a very logical place to fight for something. This is more passionate, but there is that confidence to know that you will win. And like I said, it can be a test. It can be a test by spirit, the universe, or even a literal test in our lives, that maybe you're going through exams, maybe you're dealing with job interviews or something, but it can be a testing time. Now, what's at the heart of the reading, which is a very interesting card, is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is the happily ever after. Now, if you're not living your happily ever after right now, this can be your kind of eye on the prize. Like, this is where Aquarius wants to go. Who says Aquarius is all cold? I mean, I know I just said it, but I know Aquarius can be known to be that kind of cold, analytical, kind of withdrawn. We can detach from our emotions, but this is the opposite. It's like we want that. So Aquarius wants that happily ever after, wants that, this can be also to do with reunions, gatherings, social meetings, groups of people, and that is very Aquarius, being in a group of friends. But it's, in a love life reading, it usually indicates the happily ever after. And I feel like that is very important to a lot of Aquarians. And that's a huge thing for Aquarius to admit. The kind of past energy that you're bringing into the second half of November, Aquarius, is the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords can talk about conflict, can talk about being defensive, being afraid to move forward, protecting yourself. I mean, look at the way this woman has those two swords held out, and she's like on her tippy toes like a ballerina. And she's blindfolded, and it can be that whole, like, you know how kids are like, you know, like, I don't want to see it, I don't want to see it. So it can be that kind of energy, and like, that's what you've gone through. And it, for reason. I mean, you've not done this to be difficult or to create problems. It's because you've had this difficult balancing act to do. You may have been hurt. You may have had a painful breakup. I mean, it is the Two of Swords. And that's caused you to protect yourself, to not get involved with people, to not allow love into your life. Very new energy coming in now. We have the Ace of Pentacles energy, and that's in your present. And that's kind of causing you to get very real, Aquarius. It's causing you to be very real. In a general reading, this would normally be a new way to make money, maybe a new home. It's a new practical beginning. But in a love life reading, it can be a new, getting very real about your love life, like the practical side of it, but wanting to begin afresh, wanting to begin anew. It can be that real, earthy connection with someone else. I love the energy that comes in the future. I think for those of you Aquarians that have been working really hard to get in a good financial situation, and that Ace of Pentacles can show that maybe you've been receiving returns on work that you've been doing in your practical life. It feels like you've got your ducks in a row when it comes to work or money or savings or investments or whatever that type of thing is. You have your ducks all in a row. So in the future energy, you'll be enjoying that abundance. You'll have that there. You'll have mastered that side of like the practical energies of it. You'll be feeling more grounded. Whereas the Two of Swords in the past, you were not grounded at all. This Pentacles energy that's coming up with the Ace of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, Aquarius, it lets you feel so grounded and more confident to open up. I mean, the Nine of Pentacles, it can show being alone. I mean, this woman's by herself there, but she's not afraid. Like, look at her. She's like got her huge kind of bird of prey in her arm. Like, that's not someone that's afraid. That's someone that's mastered that. She's mastered falconry at least. So, you know, that's someone that's not afraid to deal with their more animalistic side. Like, you know, the Nine of Pentacles can show a gilded cage sometimes. So don't be a loner, Aquarius. Like, get out there. If you've been done all the work, and this may be not just work like job work. It may be work that you've done on yourself, work that you've done in a relationship. This is for singles and those people that are in relationships, that you may have been working so hard on the practical things that are needed within the relationship, or changes that you want to make within yourself. That's all done. You have the Nine of Pentacles. The only way to achieve completion of that. And the Ten of Pentacles energy is very similar to the Ten of Cups energy. It's that happily ever after feeling. It's that support and connection and, you know, legacy, building something, that future that you've always wanted. It's that kind of feeling. But the only way to do that is to get out of the garden. Like, this person's enjoying the abundance of their garden, but they need to get out of the garden and move on to the 10. And I kind of feel that's like with Aquarius, that you've been making great movements through a lot of your life. You've been stuck for a while now. I know that. But there is movement now, but it's like love life is still not falling entirely into place. But you have the Seven of Cups. Now, for some people, when the Seven of Cups comes up, I will tell a lot of people that, you know, don't get lost in fantasy, don't get lost in delusions. It can be really easy to do that. Because we see this person looking at all the different cups, trying to figure out which one they want. And, you know, there's all these different offerings and it's like, oh, I could have that or I could have that. I feel what this card says to Aquarius, though, is you will be indulging in fantasy and dreaming, but that's not a bad thing. Like, usually it's not a bad thing for you, but I don't think you're very good at it. And again, like I said, no judgment, because I'm an Aquarian myself. We work better with like logic and figuring out things. But when our emotions get involved, sometimes like they can trip us up or they can confuse us ourselves. We may need to try to figure out what it is that we want from our partner, or what it is that we want from the person that we love, and if we're by ourselves trying to figure that out, especially the emotional stuff, we may not always come to the right conclusions or make the right choices. Which is why I think it's very interesting that the card that comes up, the Oracle card from the Romance Angels deck, is heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Now, if you're interested in someone or if you're in a relationship, now's the time to talk to them. Now's the time to really just open up about how you're feeling. Because otherwise you'll just drive yourself nuts with that whole Seven of Cups energy. It's time to open up about what you're feeling. Absolutely. And not just open up yourself, but listen to what someone else has to say. Maybe someone else wants to open up to you, Aquarius. Listen to what the other person says to you. That's going to give you the answers that you need, better than anything you could figure out yourself. Better than anything. So if you have the opportunity, please try to speak to the other person. If you're single, this heart-to-heart conversation can be with yourself, can be with spirit, can be like honestly discussing, like it seems weird to say discussing with yourself, but it can be that, like trying to figure out within yourself what it is that you want. Get really honest with what you want. I mean, one of the things with the Seven of Cups energy is you can't pick all the cups. There's different things in all the cups. You can't have all of them. You can only pick one. So if you have more than one option available to you in love life, in your love life, pick one. If you're not sure what you want with it in your love life, it's time to start figuring that out. Like, you want your happily ever after. How do you want it? What do you want? Does that mean getting married? Does that mean living with someone? What is it that you want? And let's not forget the Seven of Wands energy that came up at the beginning, where we might have done the whole blindfolded, trying to keep the balance thing with the Two of Swords and protecting ourselves. Seven of Wands is like, you come out swinging. So, like, don't be too aggressive. Be open to listening to what someone else has to say. Stand your ground. By all means, stand your ground. But be open to hearing what messages of love come to you, what someone has to say to you about love. And this might not even be someone that you're interested in. It might be someone that you would never consider in a million years to date or to be in a relationship with. Maybe they have something to say to you at this time that you need to hear. So the wisdom of the oracle card that I picked for you was number 44, Thinker. I shall read from the book for this card. The essential meanings: strategy, being analytical and logical. That's very much Aquarius there, right there. The relationship message is, love is not logical, but when you choose a partner, it is good to have things in common other than desire. This is a time to weigh the pros and cons of your partnership. If there is enough common ground, go for it. If not, there are other fish in the sea. Don't force it to work. And should others tell you who they are, take them at their word. Now is not the time to indulge in a fantasy, no matter what. In this case, the facts are the facts. And that's very much echoes what I was saying about the 7 of Cups and the heart-to-heart conversations. Listen to what you're being told and don't get lost in the emotional stuff. I mean, even if you love someone, even if you really feel love for someone, don't let those feelings cloud what you're thinking. And Aquarius, you're so good at doing that. I don't know what's happening here. Maybe it's the arrival of Mars in Aquarius. Maybe that's what's causing this kind of confusion and kind of urging you to act when maybe you should be listening and taking someone at their word.